But here's the key question all of you should consider. What really changed as a result of the Battle of Gettysburg? And here's the answer. Nothing. Nothing. Abraham Lincoln and Robert E. Lee understood this. In his letter to George G. Meade, dated July 14, 1863, but never sent, as most of you I'm sure know, Lincoln predicted that the failure to follow up on the victory of July 1st to 3rd meant, quote, the war will be prolonged indefinitely. Did Abraham Lincoln think Gettysburg was the great turning point? No, he thought Gettysburg was a great lost opportunity for the Army of the Potomac and the United States. Lee accepted Gettysburg as a defeat. Clearly, he couldn't accept it as anything else. He wasn't delusional, so he accepted it as a defeat, but he also reckoned that the logistical outcome of the campaign had been very good from a Confederate perspective. As for the longer-term impact, he argued that the heavy losses at Gettysburg did not exceed, quote, what it would have been from the series of battles I would have been compelled to fight had I remained in Virginia. And he added, quote, we did whip them at Gettysburg, and it will be seen for the next 6 months that that army is as quiet as a sucking dove. He said that in July of 1863. The next major battle here in the Eastern Theater, as all of you know, did not come 6 months later. It came 10 months later when U.S. Grant was on the scene and the two armies collided in Saunders Field along the Turnpike to open the Battle of the Wilderness. If you in this Richmond audience want to consider a real turning point of the war, you need to look closer to home, which is what we're going to do for the rest of tonight. The 1862 Richmond campaign exerted immense influence on the course of the Civil War. In the short term, its consequences reverberated through the armies that had maneuvered and fought up Virginia's peninsula to the Confederate capital, as well as affecting the morale and expectations of untold thousands of civilians who followed the action from behind the lines. In the broader sweep of the conflict, George B. McClellan's failure and Robert E. Lee's emergence as a successful field commander marked a decisive moment in the Eastern Theater that in turn profoundly shaped the larger direction of the conflict. A seemingly irresistible tide of Union military success between February and June 1862 receded rapidly after the 7 days, opening the way for a stunning reorientation of the strategic picture in Virginia. In early June, the strategic picture has the largest army of the United States within 5 miles of where we are right now, essentially, within 5 miles. 3 months later, the frontier is the Potomac River, where it had been in the very first spring of the war. It's an absolutely mind-boggling change in the strategic situation.